I'm Dr. Paul. I'm a psychiatrist. I've been in practice for many years and worked with many, many couples. And I've come to believe that every decent man wants a happy wife. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of men who are not decent, who don't give a rip about anybody's happiness really other than their own, unless it serves them. But if you're a decent man, then you genuinely want to make a woman happy. Um, in many, many ways. But the problem comes in that men are prone to violating their integrity to keep a woman happy. It started early. Let's face it, Adam, we are told in the Bible, was not deceived about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God had told him before Eve came along that he could eat of any of the tree of the garden, but he could not eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or he would die. Well, I think, I suspect, that Adam, when he relayed the information to Eve, wanted to make extra sure that she didn't slip up. He was perhaps trying to control things, and I think it's likely he said, "We can't even touch it, or we'll die." So that when Eve, was in conversation with the serpent, who was the emissary of the enemy, she told him, "Oh, we can't even touch that tree or we'll die." And to which the serpent rightly responded, "Well, that's not true." And indeed it wasn't. And I suspect that as she engaged in conversation with the serpent, presumably in the neighborhood of the tree, as they pressed in and got closer to it, perhaps a gust of wind caused a branch to brush against her shoulder, which was terrifying, but she didn't die. And so he successfully got her to doubt what she had been told by her husband and presumably by God. Well, the problem that Adam had at that point was that even though the Bible says he was with her, he didn't speak up because, in my mind, he would have had to admit that he had not told her the whole truth, which he was embarrassed about and maybe ashamed. So he kept quiet. When she gave heed to the message from the serpent and decided, oh, yeah, the tree is good for fruit, it's desired to make one wise, then she took it and ate it. And again, nothing bad happened. And on the contrary, it was delicious. It may have even had some kind of like psychedelic or mind expanding sensation that went along with it that caused her to deeply desire that Adam join her in this delectable fruit. Well, of course, it wasn't until after Adam ate that all things went south. Perhaps because God was holding out for Adam to hold steady in the face of this request that he was clear was not a good thing. But Adam, like so many decent men, in the moment could not see a way to hold on to his own integrity, his relationship with God, and hold on to his woman, his wife, at the same time. And he did what so many men have done in letting go of their own integrity to hold on to the secure relationship with the woman that he loved. Well, of course, that went badly. You can see the same thing with Abraham and Sarah when she's like desperate for him to sleep with her handmaid Hagar so that they can have a child. She thinks it's the right thing to do. I can pretty much guarantee you that Abraham knew better. He understood God's ways are not our ways, and I think he probably resisted her invitation, knowing that it wasn't God's way. However, she was pretty distraught. Like she was dying, felt like she was literally dying to have a child, and so She pressed Abraham to sleep with Hagar. Well, you may know the story, but just as soon as Hagar became pregnant, she was being a little full of herself. It made Sarah even more distraught, and she blamed Abraham and pretty much insisted that he send Hagar away. Well, the upshot of that event was that there has been a lot of enmity between Ishmael, the descendants of Ishmael, and the descendants of Isaac, um, that I think was a direct result of Abraham sacrificing his integrity to maintain relationship. So, ladies, if you are listening to this, there are times when it may be appropriate for your husband to withhold some information. Like if you say, does this dress make me look fat? Um, it may be wisdom for the husband to say, babe, you always look good in my eyes. It's not my favorite dress, but I think you're just fine if that feels comfortable to you. Something like that. He doesn't have to directly answer the question. And if she presses it, in my mind, she's asking for trouble. But the point is that there are moments when it makes sense to shield someone we love from an inconvenient truth. However, if it's more than a simple question of does the dress make me look fat, it is a slippery slope for a man to begin to let his relationship with his wife become more important than his relationship with himself, his relationship with God, and the integrity that he holds as a deeply important part of his masculine identity. And so the problem that Eve had, the problem that Sarah had, is that even though they got what they want in the moment, they got their husband to do what they asked or told them to do, in the long run, it went badly for everyone. And so guys, it is important for you to regularly take stock of how you are living your life. I mean, I was so bad about saying what I thought my wife wanted to hear. Like, I would lie about stupid things. Like I would call my wife and say, "Oh, I'm leaving the office now," when I still had 10 minutes of work to do. Or I would call her on the way home and I would say, "Oh, I'm at 1488," when I was only at 242, a couple of miles further away from home. But I so desperately wanted to make her happy that I said things that were not true in order to make her feel good. If a woman asks her husband if he's looked at pornography, it is important for him to know, yes, that's going to make her unhappy, and use that information to resist the urge to look at improper things. But if he's done it and she asks that question, then his integrity must be more important than making her happy in the moment. He has to tell the truth, even when he knows it is going to cause her pain and cause him distress, because she will be hurt or angry. And it may mean that she will want to step away from the relationship, at least temporarily. That's so painful for a man, because as we can see very clearly, when a spouse dies, men do not do as well alone as women typically do. And so the relationship, in a way, the guy needs that connection with a woman, perhaps even more than the woman needs the connection with the man. You can argue with me about that. I could be wrong, but back to the main point of this video, and that is that as important as it is for you as a man to please your wife in the bedroom and everywhere else, it must not be your top priority. Your relationship with God and your relationship with yourself must come ahead of your relationship with your wife. Now, of all your human relationships, she can be number one aside from your relationship with yourself. But if, but otherwise you're skating on thin ice, and it's likely to not only hurt your integrity, it will ultimately break down trust in the relationship, because what the woman needs more than she needs you to do what she asks, she needs you to be a man that she can respect, a man of integrity, a man of his word, a man who is able to take a stand even when she is unhappy with him about it. It's super important. By the same token, wives, you can do your husband a great favor by reassuring him that your happiness is not his responsibility, that he has great ability to bless you and to hurt you, but that you are going to look to God as your source of happiness so that he doesn't have to take that responsibility. That's a big blessing. Hope this little video is helpful to you. If so, please like it. Love for you to subscribe to the channel, share the video with others, and please, in the comments, let me know if you agree with me about this. And of course, if there's some other topic that you'd like for me to address, please let me know. I love you.